We'll start with the daily chart. We'll take a Heikin Ashi off. Now, when we look at this, we've now reached the exact 50% from the low that we made in December 2018 to the high that we made in June 2019. So that 50% should be a big deal normally, you know, especially in a corrective move. 50% would be where you would be looking, but I think we're in a big wave too, and I would be looking somewhere between 50 or 61.8. And if I measure this as a big ABC, as you can see, the equal measured move comes in a bit lower, around 7484 here at Bitstamp. I've got Bitstamp on because of the history, and if we take away this 50% fib, but look at it this way, from the fib levels, from the high that we made in December 2017 to the low that we made in December 2018, you know, we've been respecting these fib levels perfectly. This was a reversal at the 61.8. We came back to the 38.2, which is what you would expect in the golden ratio zone. And you know, if you lose the 38.2, you're normally looking to the 236 fib, and that gives us all the way down here at 7,050. So, you know, Bitcoin loves to kind of overshoot, and so I would not be surprised at all if we overshoot, and we overshoot this 200 moving average, and we come down a little bit further towards 7,000, 7,500. And one of the reasons is, you know, we've spent so long building a base here. We saw this before. Remember when we built this big base here at 6,000, and then we ran the stops underneath it? Half of this move was not people selling Bitcoin. Half of this move was the stops of the people who had bought Bitcoin. This really sharp move that's not stopping here, this is the stops of the people who bought here, and you know, rather than, I think, active sellers. And so that's why it can kind of overshoot and go that little bit further. So for me, I'm not going to buy it until I see a really firm base form. So I'm going to mark my levels. So we'll put our 50% level back on. Let's just do that first. Okay, let's take the other fibs off. I don't want it too untidy. We'll just be looking at that 50. Okay, now I look at this on a low time frame, and I'm looking for a reversal to start. So by low time frame, I mean 5 minute. You can even, you know, you can look at it on a 1 minute chart. The system's the same. Put your Heikin Ashi on. Let's see what we're doing here. So far, we've got a little, we've gone sideways in a, it may be a bear flag. If it breaks down, it's a bear flag. And if it doesn't, it's a double bottom if it breaks to the upside. So we'll need to see, you know, which way we break out of this box. Okay. Now remember, on a 1 minute, that can look like a spike on a 5 minute or whatever. So, you know, if we break to the upside, we're going to go twice this distance, because we'll go twice the range, and, you know, and so on. If you're looking for a long-term buy level in Bitcoin, the likelihood that we will do a big V bottom here that doesn't get retested, I have to say, is really small. I think that you can afford to be really patient and let this set up. I would want to see, you know, it make at least sort of an hourly or a 4-hour base and a reversal level. So if you think you're going to miss out because you're not rushing to buy it here, you're not. You know, always wait for the retest, or you really will get run over. And here, look, we're already breaking down. So this 50% level for now isn't holding. And do you know why this is again? You know, this is people that will go, whoa, the 50% level, 8,500, it's here. And they'll have really tight stops. And those stops will get run, and that will send us lower. So it needs to kind of calm down and shake itself out. So are you going to short it now? You could, you know, if you're trading really short term and you're really disciplined about taking profits and stopping when it goes against you. So, you know, like even here on a 1 minute, use the Heikin Ashi. If it stops going down and it goes green, you get out. If you're very disciplined, then I think it is. What's really interesting to me is that Bitcoin, this is an hourly chart of Ripple. So some of these other coins have found buyers. Ripple has found buyers in the last hour. Let's look at this 1 minute. You know, this is more, people are more interested in Ripple. This is Litecoin. People are trying to buy Litecoin here at the lows. This is a 5 minute. The 1 minute chart looks better. Look at this one. So, you know, some of these other coins have got a lot more interest in them than Bitcoin. Even look, Bitcoin Cash SV here is doing much better than Bitcoin off the lows. So, and this is against Bitcoin. That's not apples. That's apples and oranges. Let's look at it at Tether. Yeah, you can see much better off the lows. So if you see, even on a 1 minute, if you see a bullish pattern like an inverted head and shoulders, that's a valid pattern, you know, in these altcoins. So these bigger altcoins are holding up a little bit better than Bitcoin at the moment. Even some, what did I notice today? I was watching ZRX, you know, because ZRX has the news, and I was looking for this pullback long in ZRX that hasn't quite set up yet. And I was thinking, what the hell, you know, some of them, like this is Moeda points. Some of these charts are going to look like they're going great guns. We're going to have a big breakout against Bitcoin with this move lower. When Bitcoin is really underperforming, it can make these alts look better than they necessarily are. But let's take a look at how Moeda, and let's go down a time frame, for example. Let's go to 4 hour here, and let's go and look at Moeda loyalty points against the US dollar. Because if you see an alt that looks like this, or let's look at it calculated, you can see that it's actually going down in US dollar terms. So be very careful if you see a chart that like this against Bitcoin. Make sure, I mean, if your goal is just to accumulate more Bitcoin, that's fine, but make sure it's at least stable against the US dollar, which this one isn't. Although it looks really good against Bitcoin, this move is all driven by Bitcoin at the moment.